Hello, welcome to another 747 update. We have a long one for you guys. I was gone last week, wasn't able to create a 747 update for last week, so this update will be for features we pushed last week and this week, so it's going to be a long one, but there is a lot of cool stuff in here, and there's a few that are literally going to change the Copilot and how you're going to use it. So uh, buckle up and here we go. So the first one is the big one, and that is sequence automations are now available for enterprise subscribers. So if you have the enterprise subscription tier, you can go to marketing and automations, and you'll see two new tabs up here. One is sequence automations, and the next is sequence history. This is just history of automations ran. And sequence automations are extremely powerful and really change how you can use Copilot and how you do your job with automating tasks and everything. So let me just give you a quick tour of sequence automations. We have this really nice user-friendly interface here, and you can build out sequence automations with as many triggers and conditions as you want. And really the strength of sequence automations comes with multi-step automations and adding conditions to those steps as well. So we still have regular automations in here. These are great for one-off automations, running one task, but if you're doing multi-step with filtering, you're going to want to use sequence automations. So it's pretty user-friendly. We have trigger conditions here. Right now, we only have triggers that have to do with estimates and invoices. We are currently working on adding all of the legacy triggers from automations in here and also creating a whole list of new triggers that we want in here. But this is where you add your triggers. And then from there, you can add conditions as well. So pretty soon here, you'll be able to do a condition such as contains this service. So if you have a estimate is created and you want that to only contain a certain service to run this automation, you can do and triggers, you can do or triggers. So if and or statements, and then you could add actions here. And with actions, you can have them run instantly or after, and you can do exact days, hours, and minutes with actions in here as well. And like I said, you can do multiple triggers in here, and you can do multiple actions. So if you want, when an estimate is created, there to be multiple steps afterwards that take place on different days, you can do that as well. Multiple triggers and even stop actions. So sequence automations are incredibly powerful and can really change how you use our software. So definitely get in here and start learning them before we add a lot more functionality through more triggers and more conditions. So yep, that is sequence automation. Super exciting, and we're going to keep building it out. All right, the next thing is pretty nice. This is another great option that we added, and that is scheduling individual line items from estimates. So if you open up an estimate now, you'll see this column added here next to your line items with event. And from here, you can click this plus button to schedule just that line item. This is really nice for when you're sending estimates that might have multiple steps, and you can just click this plus button here, and it'll carry over the line item just from that line that you clicked to create an event for. So it's really great. Once you do create an event for it as well, I'm just gonna click create visit here, and then back to this estimate. You can see that you can, from the estimate, you can see that there's an event scheduled, and you can edit that event straight from the estimate. And this also works with recurring events. So for instance, I'm gonna create an event from this line and set it as recurring. Create visit. Oh, I did not add a title. We'll just put weekly mowing. And as you can see from the estimate, you can see that there is a recurring series here that'll open up all the recurring events list. So really awesome. And part of this feature as well is carrying over the budgeted hours on the estimate for when you're creating those visits. So as you can see, this Japanese maple install has 2.5 budgeted hours. And when I click create, and create a visit. As you can see, it pulls over those budgeted hours, so you no longer have to, have two tabs open with an estimate and a visit. You can just be confident that when you click create visit, it's going to carry over the correct line items and the appropriate budget hours for the visit. So really, really nice update for that. Next thing is you'll notice in a few areas around the software, we've added a new and improved text editor. So one of those places, let's look at creating an event. One of those places you can see that is in descriptions of items and services, and also in event notes as well. So as you can see, this bar at the top here allows you to format your text, add pictures and all that kind of stuff. So you can format, you can make this bold, you can italicize it, you can even make it a heading, and you can add links into here as well by clicking this button. So now that is a link. You can even add images in here as well. So for instance, I have this image here, insert, and now I have a picture of this Japanese maple that we're going to install. So you can do this on any item and service. You can do this on any visit with visit notes. It's really nice to be able to have that kind of function built into the text editors. All right, next thing is just a little speed improvement, and that is when you are creating a property, instead of having to name the property every time, we just made it a list with a dropdown where you can quickly select really common property types. So for instance, commercial, HOA, primary, rental, or secondary. And that way you don't have to sit here and come up with a name. You can just quickly select what the property is for the customer that you're creating a property for. We also added a setting in here under preferences and then properties where you can select the default option that pops up. All right, next thing is default schedule view. So right above this and under preferences, you'll notice we added a default calendar view here. And with this, you can select which page you would like the schedule to open to and whether it opens in the calendar view or grid view. So as you can see, I have the week and grid view selected here. And so when I open schedule now, it defaults to opening in week and grid view. So if your team really likes to use the today calendar view, you can set that in your settings so that every time you open the schedule, it defaults to opening to this page. So little nice improvement there. Next thing is we added some customizability to invoices and estimates by show and hiding columns under your invoice estimates and receipts here. And these are only for visible to customer. So you will still see the quantity hour, budgeted hours, and cost rate on your estimates and invoices regardless of these settings. These are just to show and hide them from the customer. So if you don't want your customer seeing any of them, you can go in here and turn those off, or you can only turn off a few of them depending on your preferences. So nice setting there. Next thing is also just a little quality of life improvement, and that is when you are viewing a visit on the schedule. Let me open our schedule here and open a visit. Really simple update, and that's all that we created the name here to be clickable. So when you're viewing a event, you can just click the name here and it'll open up to their customer profile. So just nice, easy workflow, quality of life improvement, very simple, but nice to have. And then the last thing is also just a quality of life improvement on the mobile app. And that is now you can click the logo up top to return to the My Day page. So if I go to customers here, and I click the Copilot logo here, it'll take me back to the My Day page. So lots of really big updates and a few quality of life improvements, but we are continuing to build out the software. And right now we're really focusing on stability and bugs. And so hopefully you see the effects of focusing on that for this next coming week. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the update, and I'll see you guys next week for the next 747.